been studying it for years, and when I moved to Vancouver in 1988, and I was there till 2000. So when I came back to Toronto, or pardon me, Mississauga, I do live here, honest. The Etobicoke was after a major rainstorm, and I came back, and the smells were different than when I was here in 1988. You could smell the raw sewage, fossil fuel, death. The environment is changing rapidly, and it is getting worse. The positive direction that they believe that turning the Etobicoke into a creek from a river has now become a storm drain. We have major problems in our environment, and we're not going in the right direction. We're going in the wrong direction. As much as people think that the waterfront is improving by this program that they plan, or development project, it's not a good direction if we have nuclear waste buried in the same area. People are not going to pay high prices for nuclear waste by their residents. And the fact is, if you have nuclear waste buried by the watershed, that means that we also have it by it's accumulating across the entire area. That means that everyone in the GTA is going to be affected if there's a crack or anything like that. The problem is that we have this belief that we're always going to trust our system, but nuclear waste in a heavily populated area is a really unfortunate situation that we can't fix overnight. It has to be moved, and the best way to move it is through you people. If you understand that nuclear waste in a residential area is a bad idea, then the people of the federal government or provincial government are the ones that we should be looking at to improve the quality of life for everyone. The things with public transit, we should have, for example, Cawthra should be a go stop. If you notice across the whole lakeshore, there's basically one, Port Credit, and then we share with Oakville and we share with Etobicoke, and that's it. So we should get at least one more stop, Cawthra, as well as Cawthra on the Milton line as well. So bike paths, for example, are very important for us as well. That we should be looking for bike paths expressways, not the way we have it presently right by the roadway, because you're ingesting huge amounts of fossil fumes, and the heat is also dangerous, as well as the fact that drivers go excessively fast. There is no way for pedestrian cyclists to get along. So what we should be looking for in the 21st century is a better way for getting people around. Public transit is the best alternative as well. We should also be looking for, Dixie Road. Basically, I'm kind of overwhelmed, so I didn't prepare as well as I was hoping to. The direction that we should be going for as well is the way we do our investing. The problem with the way we do things right now is that we try to keep outsourcing to try to save money. The problem with outsourcing is it's like riding a unicycle. It's hard to balance and you don't get far. Maybe what we should be looking for in the 21st century is a new direction where we franchise out our system so that people are actually making money, we're creating jobs, and we're not putting so much pressure on the taxpayers or ratepayers. The direction is very clear that we should be looking at other alternatives. Oh.
Hello everyone. I'm so excited and humbled to have this opportunity to speak to you all today. I first want to thank Applewood Acres and Orchard Heights Homeowners Association, as well as Sherway Homeowners and Recreational Association, for having all the candidates here tonight and for giving me a chance to talk about why I'm the ideal candidate for Ward Wonderful, and also to tell you how we can work together to move Ward 1 forward. Being born and raised in Applewood Acres, I not only understand the challenges that we face within this ward, but I'm also very passionate about the people within this community. From issues ranging from road and community safety, to the Dixie Interchange, the QEW expansion, infill developments, I know what your concerns are, and I'm ready to be your advocate at City Council. I understand firsthand the impact our issues have had on our community. Part of what inspired me to run for City Council was when my family home of 30 years was recently expropriated due to the QEW expansion and highway improvements. When I saw that there was little support to the residents of the area, I not only supported my family, my parents, but also the community. I don't want anyone to go through the hardship of not being heard or not being supported. So this is what I will be for you, for all the people within this community. I want to be your voice. With multiple years as a planning manager, as well as a business developer and a public servant for the City of Toronto, I know I have the proven leadership and expertise required to be the City Councillor for Ward 1. If elected as City Councillor, I will invest in residential, commercial, and transportation development, as well as our biggest asset in the city, the waterfront. I will make the environment a top priority for your family's future through innovative and sustainable measures. And I will promote programs that preserve our heritage and embraces our diverse communities. Over the past few weeks, I have been going door to door, and in speaking with the great people within this community, many of the individuals have told me that they don't want another politician, but rather they want someone just like them. Someone that understands the diversity of the city and that understands the need within this ward. I want to assure everyone within this community that I am not another politician, but rather I am a concerned and passionate community member that believes in community-led change and that understands your needs in this ward. Together, we will not only build upon the amazing vision of Jim Tovey, but we will come together and move Ward 1 forward. Thank you again, and once again, I look forward to the thoughtful and meaningful discussions to come.
My name is Sharmilla Setaram. My friends and neighbors call me Sharm. I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to engage with you this evening. I'd like to first begin by acknowledging that the land on which we gather is part of the treaty lands and the territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit, and that in just a few days, September 30th, is Orange Shirt Day, which is designed to educate people about the Indian residential school system and the impact this system had on our Indigenous communities for more than a century in Canada. I am running for City Councillor because I felt compelled to speak up and stand up for the many vulnerable people in our community who are unable to or fearful of speaking up or standing up for themselves. I've been asked to run to make their voice heard, to acknowledge their contribution, and to advocate for their needs and desire for a stronger community. Our community vision was created with our stories, our experiences, and our dreams. It is now time for our vision to become a reality. And as they say, everything is in the details. This is what you've told me so far are your priorities: improving community safety, building stronger neighborhoods, protecting our natural environment, planning for the transportation needs of our community, and creating affordable home ownership and rental options. And I'd like to work together with you to start exploring how we can have innovative pilots for second units, co-housing and home sharing, vertical parking to reclaim green spaces, and reducing our urban heat island effect, which will save the environment and put money in our pocket. I'd also like to work together to create a Ward 1 Youth Council and Senior Council, and to look at bylaw changes for childcare and elder care in new condo buildings, outdoor toilets and public spaces, and an innovation hub similar to Studio 89 in Ward 3. And as well, creating vibrant business districts to support small business owners. A little bit about myself. I'm a lifelong resident of Mississauga. I'm invested in this community, and I've called Lakeview home for the last 5 years. I've been working in this ward for 10 years with the Ontario Clean Water Agency, and I work out of GE Booth, the wastewater treatment facility, where I've led programs in environmental compliance, worker health and safety, and now in human resources, supporting frontline staff to provide water and wastewater services to 1.4 million residents in the region of Peel. I've spent 20 years volunteering with organizations to build communities where everyone belongs. I have strong governance, decision-making, and leadership skills, including a tenure as the president of Amnesty International Canada from 2013 to 2016, and serving in global leadership roles within the movement. I have a master's degree in industrial relations from Queen's University and a degree in environmental studies from the University of Waterloo. And I also grew up in a single-parent family led of 6 kids. I am a progressive voice strengthened by diversity and proudly standing up and speaking out for the underrepresented people of Ward 1 and Mississauga. Resilient communities bring different voices in the community together to learn, create common goals and solutions. I pledge to work to increase the resiliency of Ward 1 through leadership and engagement from the ground up. Thank you.
Thank you very much for all that big information. A lot of us take that into consideration. Right now, we're going to have some questions from the Homeowners Association here. And right now, Ms. Barrow will be the first one to ask your questions, and we'll go down in alphabetical order for the answering, and each candidate has a minute to answer that question. Thank you.
Hello?
90 seconds, sorry.
So this is a question pertaining really to Applewood Acres. Thank you for coming tonight. I'm Burke Chamberlain, the president of the Applewood Acres Homeowners Association. So my question is, do you think the current zoning bylaw is reflective of the Lakeview official plan and will maintain the characteristics of the existing neighborhoods such as Applewood Acres? What do you think should be looked at specifically?
Okay, I get the tough question first there. So I think we always should be looking at our zoning bylaws and making sure that they're reflective of the communities that we're looking to have. And this is one of the issues that I think we need to be looking at in terms of, are we looking at inclusive communities and being very broad about that? And specifically within the Applewood Acres is, are we looking that we have enough amenities? I'm interested in how Mississauga moves. We'll move in that community. Particularly around transit. And as people are becoming more seniors, maybe having less access to cars or being able to drive, will they be able to move within the community? And so when we're looking at zoning, how do we preserve the beautiful nature of this neighborhood while needing to be able to transport people?
I think we both.
Yeah.
Thank you for the question. I strongly believe that development can be good and a positive thing for Ward 1. However, I can only support development as long as it fits with the natural existing character of the neighborhood and it suits the needs of our Ward 1 community. As a consensus builder, I will work hard to ensure that any development plan is in direct consultation with the community to understand your needs and concerns. So in terms of the zoning bylaw, if it suits the needs of the existing character, I will support it. A great example right now in Applewood is the Wealthy and Primate project development. Right now, they're going from R3 to R5-75, and this is too dense. We have to make sure it suits the needs of the existing character and work with our developers to make sure that we have that existing character there. I'm dedicated to being the bridge and facilitating discussions between all stakeholders when it comes to both residential and commercial development, ensuring there's constructive working groups in order to address your needs and concerns. Thank you.
One of the things that I've noticed about our area is that we seem to have a problem with mixing the environment with development. It seems to be all or none. So one of the things that I do believe we should be working on is, for example, Dixie area, there is no housing development there, and there's a huge amount of land that should be saved for the environment. Jim Tovey wanted to turn it into, in our area, a road maintenance department. The problem with the road maintenance department being built on top of a watershed is the same problem we had with Etobicoke. In 2005, there was a huge oil spill that just dumped oil through the storm drains right into the watershed, and they couldn't clean it up. You know how oil sticks to everything. And I've got videos and pictures of it. It made a huge mess. So that area is a historical area, actually. It's ground zero of the Toronto Purchase, and I'd like to see that rebuilt back into a wetlands waterfall. The fact that we had one wetland waterfall in that area that was destroyed by the Eastern Power natural gas power plant, it wiped out the whole area. Now it's being used for toxic, dirty diesel. So it could have been, it used to be a waterfall that went right into the Etobicoke. It was one of the most beautiful areas we ever had, and it's gone now. It can be restored very easily. That whole area, there was a house from 1832, the James Alderson farmhouse. They built this year a huge warehouse beside it. I don't know how the zoning law works. Sorry. Thank you very much.
So addressing infill development is a problem across Ward 1. We need to look at whether or not we need to extend some of the bylaw restrictions we put on height and width in Lakeview into other communities so that we can maintain the character of those communities while welcoming new families. We have a good problem. People want to be in our area. People want to build in our area. It's the opposite of a neighborhood that's in decline. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't need to be managed. It doesn't mean that it doesn't need to be communicated. One of the things I keep hearing over and over again is that people don't trust the Committee of Adjustments, and they don't trust that process, and they don't trust that communication. One of the commitments that I would make is to make sure that when those are coming up, that the neighborhood is notified, that it's not just the sign that's attached to a post that falls down 2 seconds after it's nailed in. We need to make sure that we're communicated, that the neighborhood has an opportunity to voice their opinion, and that if we need to be making bylaw changes, that we're making them informed and with consultation with the neighborhood